Hello there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, survivor, and advocate. Welcome to my channel. So great to see all of you again via YouTube. So nice to chat with you today about a new topic. And so I'm going to be talking about the 8 reasons toxic people hate you for the newer, braver you. And, many of us have been on such a fabulous healing journey of transformation, of recovery, of taking back our power. And what we are coming to find out is that those people who have been quite abusive and malicious to us, so for you, it could be the narcissist, it could be the flying monkeys, or it could be someone who is just a bully, and you're coming to find out that you have really overcome a lot of obstacles, a lot of hardships. And through this amazing journey of recovery, of finding your voice, of speaking up, of starting this new chapter of your life, that it is just such an amazing, empowering, liberating experience. There's just nothing that can quite describe how fantastic it is to step into this new chapter of life. And so thank you for joining me today. Before I get into the 8 reasons why toxic people hate you for the newer, courageous you, I am going to have some announcements. Now, if you can hear a little background noise right now, my neighbors are chopping down their trees. It's been going on for days and days. There's been a lot of construction happening near my home. And so when I really think about wow, when's a good time to record a video, I have to say, if I wait for the perfect lighting, the perfect time, the perfect setting, when I really feel like it, when I'm at maybe my absolute best, then it may not ever happen for a while because there's always real life things going on behind the scenes. And so today, thank you in advance for overlooking any of the noise of the trees that are being chopped down and the drilling and the sawing and all the other background noises. I hope you could focus on today's message. And, that is something I really love to be, the voice for the voiceless and hope for the voiceless, to awaken courage in others in their healing journey. And so my one announcement is that for those who are unaware, I've taken a little vacation from YouTube. And so I'm trying to create safer space, a sacred space with more balance and better boundaries in my life. And so that means better boundaries and balance for myself personally as well as professionally. And I thank you for respecting this, for understanding that I'm making some really important changes in my life that will definitely influence my business and my YouTube channel. And so a few things that are going to be a little bit different over here. I'm going to try to shorten the length of time of my videos, and there's going to be a larger space between each new video. So that means they won't be happening every 5 days. Instead, I'm going to give myself some grace. I'm going to give myself some safe space to be able to upload a video when it fits into my life, into my season of life where I'm really busy, people. I have a full plate. So I'm in school for certified trauma recovery coaching, and it is fabulous, and I'm loving it. Gaining so much wisdom, knowledge, education, empowering, tools, and so many practical things that I'm learning to help me, not only for me and my recovery, but for you and your recovery too. So thank you for being here and for supporting me and for all your love and encouragement. And let's move forward to today's message. So we have to understand that during this timeline where we may have either gone no contact or gray rock, or we just kind of love people from a long distance, you know what I'm talking about. There's some people, especially the narcissist and the flying monkeys, who they don't like this newer version of yourself. They don't like that you are healing. They don't like this new self that you are stepping into, this authentic, vulnerable, courageous person who you have become. And so they don't like that you have really gained more confidence, that you have learned some practical tools for yourself to find different ways, coping mechanisms for, say, trauma recovery, narcissistic recovery, everything to do with your body, mind, and soul, and making some practical changes in your life to improve yourself inside and out. So not everybody is on board with this. Not everybody likes the newer you. And we have to understand that these toxic people, so whether they're still in your life or whether they're no longer a part of your life, they despise you for bravely moving forward, for finding your voice, finding the truth, and living out a very, very beautiful chapter of this season in life right now. So they did underestimate you. They underestimated how brave you are, how courageous you are, that you do finally understand what was happening with these toxic relationships, with the gaslighting, the manipulation, etc., etc. And we have to understand, you are not the person you were, say, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10, 20, 30, or beyond. You're not the same person. So you have changed in many different ways. So it could be a personal change, a professional change, a spiritual change. It could be relationship changes. So you've made a lot of brand new choices for what is best for you. And I so congratulate you. I am proud of you. So if I haven't told you that lately, I want to tell you, my friends, I am so proud of you and for all of the wonderful things that you are learning on this new transition in life. And I'm so standing there cheering you on and saying, yes, yes, you can do it. But we have to really get to a place where we can understand that toxic people never fathomed in a million years that you would come to a place where you would awaken up to the truth about abuse. They never in a million years guessed that you would have some strength, the grit and the grace and the fearlessness to stand strong in who you are, your true essence, and to not be silenced. So they never thought that you would speak up. They never thought you would walk away. They never thought that you would not take the bait when they're provoking you and gaslighting you. And so they thought, hook, line, and sinker, they got you. And then all of a sudden, one by one, day by day, year by year, you have made practical, very positive improvements in your life. And so they hate it. They're so ticked off at you because you're not the old you. You're not the punching bag that they can trample all over. You are not the older version of yourself who may had at one time been a people pleaser. That's not who you are anymore. You go. I'm so happy for you. And so we have to understand that toxic people will despise you and hate you and oftentimes even continue to attack you because you are a strong person. At one time, you didn't think you could be a strong person. At one time, you may have felt so beaten down and bruised and battered and broken, and you may have thought you couldn't make it through, but you did it. Through the journey. And it may have been dark. It may have felt like that cocoon, that like the beginning stages of the chrysalis, the early stages of the caterpillar, and they're stuck in that dark cocoon. You may have felt like that at one time, but at one point you started making these practical changes, these positive improvements, choices in life that will benefit you, your boundaries, your life, your health, especially your mental health and your safety. And so they hate it. So we have to understand, the narcissist and the toxic siblings and all the bullies, they can't stand how beautiful you have grown and how beautiful you have transformed. But I'm happy for you, and that has to count for something. And so we have to understand that there are 8 signs that Toxic people hate you. You know, they have reasons why, and we're going to take a deep dive into it. We have to understand that now that you took back control over your life, your body, your mind, your relationships, your profession, your dreams, and your life purpose, and what is best for you, these toxic people are so sickened that you had the guts, you had the grit, you had the grace, you had the courage to do it. And so we're going to chat about these 8 reasons, and we're going to start with number 1. You are a stronger person. You have more security in who you are. There's this self-confidence that's just bubbling up, and you know, people around you, we can see it. We can see that you're confident and that you have courage, and we admire you. And number 2 is that you have built some very clear, healthy, personal and professional boundaries for your life, and consider it like a little hedge of protection. It might be, say, like an invisible fence. We might not be able to visibly see it, but it's like a hedge of protection around you. And your boundaries set standards. It says, hey, these are my limits, and don't cross this limit. And so you have boundaries in place. And so because you are a truth seeker, because you're standing firm in these healthy boundaries, the toxic people despise you for it. Number 3 is you've become a more compassionate person. So you not only give compassion to other people, but you also have self-compassion for yourself. Now, I have to say that's really a huge part of the trauma recovery, the narcissistic abuse recovery. When we give ourselves compassion, it's healing, it's cathartic. It really transforms our lives inside and out. Next would be that oftentimes during this big season where we have all these changes, where we finally found our voice and we're more compassionate, we have boundaries and we spoke up, and we might be the whistleblowers, but we have to understand that we may have also followed our dreams. We may have stepped into our purpose in life. We may have been experiencing success and accomplishments, and that is a beautiful thing too. You know, when we are living out our passionate pursuits, when we're living out what we feel is our calling, it's our lifetime inspirations and aspirations, and we step into, no matter how scary it is, no matter how intimidating it is, we boldly step into this calling in life. And that is such a huge demonstration of how much you are healing, of how strong you are, of how brave you are. And it is not only changing your life, it is changing others around you. And so next would be number 6. So the toxic people, and again, you know, it could be your narcissistic parent, your narcissistic sibling, a narcissistic partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, ex-spouse, coworkers, and et cetera, they are so fired up that you are happy. And so part of this new chapter of your life is that you don't have to take revenge on anyone who's toxic. Instead, you just walk into this beautiful, beautiful place where you choose joy, you choose hope, you choose self-motivation, you choose to be a better person. And so you're choosing that happiness is going to be a part of your life. And you know that there are times that, you know, choosing joy doesn't mean we don't have problems. It doesn't mean we don't have anxiety, or we don't have triggers every now and then, or that we don't have our own lifetime struggles. But choosing joy means that every day we show up for ourselves and we say, I'm going to ground myself today. I'm going to be exactly who I am today, this authentic person. And I'm going to choose happiness and peace and love. And that is so cathartic and therapeutic for you. Next is number 7. And so because you are empowered and you're on this liberating pathway in life, This is another reason why the narc and the flying monkeys hate you. They can't stand seeing that you're such a liberated, empowered person. They like the weaker version of you, the person who would let them trample all over your boundaries and you were just a peacemaker and a people pleaser and, oh, you're always quiet, shh, you're always quiet. And then all of a sudden you were just like, oh, hell no. And then you rose up, man. You are a badass. So you rose up. You found your voice. You had such courage to face those demons. We must understand the narcissist and the toxic siblings, they're demonic. And you faced them head on. You didn't just back down in fear. Oh no, you are fearless. And that is another absolutely positive trait that I just commend you for. I commend you for that. Next would be number 7. Because you are an authentic person, you're very genuine, you have compassion, you have empathy, and you're a kind-hearted person, and it's by nature. A lot of these people who become these scapegoats are empaths. And they are compassionate people. They might be highly sensitive people. But we have to understand that because of these beautiful traits and characteristics of the empath, of the highly sensitive person, of the person who's woke, and you are very aware, you're consciously aware of what's going on around you and what has been happening for all these years when people were gaslighting you, bullying you, smear campaigns against you, retaliating, hoovering you. Oh, it was just nonstop, this 3-ring circus that just gets crazy. But you woke up to it. You made some really practical and good changes to your life. And so the toxic people are so disgusted that you are onto them, that you are so wise, you are so intelligent. And so it drives them nuts. But we have to understand that everything you've been through, and tell me in the comments everything you've been through, because so many of you have shared with me your stories, and many of you have been through rock bottom. You've been through hell and back through high waters, and yet you stayed afloat when the going got rough. You somehow kept on keeping on when things were extremely out of control, because we know with a narcissist and toxic people, it can be a situation where they're trying to overpower you. They are trying to control you. They are so manipulative of you. They will lie because they're pathological liars. They're very unstable, psychologically abusive people. And so understand that everything you've gone through, all the adversity, all of the trials, all of the trauma, all of the tears, all of the pain, it is not in vain. It is not in vain. We must understand that everything you have learned, nothing is wasted, because through these rock bottom experiences, you have opened your eyes. You have learned so much. You have educated yourself about what is narcissistic personality disorder? What is a dysfunctional family? What is intergenerational trauma? And how it goes on and on and on. And finally, so many of us said, I'm done. I'm not going to play the mind games anymore. And so we step off this crazy little hamster wheel that goes around and around, and we don't play the mind games anymore. And we take back our power. And so what happens is, despite the narcissist, despite the flying monkeys and any of these toxic people who hate you, it doesn't matter, because let's just keep it real now. We're not going to let their hate turn us into bitter people. We're not going to let their negative energy make us become hostile people. We are not going to let all of their abuse, gaslighting, hoovering, hurtful words that cut like a knife, we are not going to let that make us become bad people, unhappy people, stuck. No, instead, we're going to find practical ways that we can continue our healing journey. We are going to become better people through this experience. And we have to understand that we are growing, we are expanding, we are transforming, and we will become better people through this. And so this is a choice. Healing is a choice. Choosing to become a better person is a choice. It's building conscious awareness about ourselves, about the way we act, the way we respond, about our ability to take a good look at the dynamics of these very toxic, abusive relationships, and to understand that when someone treats us poorly, when someone is malicious and vicious and they're manipulating us, and they might even physically be abusing us, we have to understand that doesn't say who we are. It speaks volumes about who they are. So the person who is choosing hate and hostility, that speaks volumes about who they are at the core. And so we take a different path. And I so appreciate how you are continuing to expand yourself, to transform yourself, and to choose joy, to choose love, to choose peace. And that makes you just such a much more beautiful person. You're like a magnet, and you are attracting other empaths to you. You are attracting these positive vibrations and higher energy and other highly sensitive people who are kind-hearted. You're like a magnet, and you're attracting the good. And so this is good. And so I'm so excited for you. And this is part of my healing journey too. And I'd love to hear more. So share with me, what are the things that you think that the toxic people hate about you? Is it that you finally did break the silence? Is it that you did move far away from them? Is it that you are no longer participating in the three-ring circus? The mind games, the blame games. Is it that you have really, really done a lot of hard work in your recovery journey? So share with me. I'd love to hear more. In the meanwhile, like my video, subscribe to my channel, and you could visit me at danaarcuri.com. Thanks and have a beautiful day.